All right. So in this video, I want to talk about triggers. All right, animation triggers, which is basically when I guess you have a moment where the game would just arbitrarily determine that something is going to happen, and there's really no reasoning behind it. There's not much logic applied to it. It's just that the AI and the algorithm may just decide at a certain moment that they want a certain thing to happen for the sake of trying to imitate the programmer's understanding of how basketball goes. All right, so an example of that would be like a foul or you losing the ball. Like if someone is holding, the computer calls a double team on you, they would trigger you to just drop the ball. And it really would be for no clear reason. It's not that they knocked the ball out your hand. You would just fumble it, and there would be really no logic behind it. Or you would be holding someone, and you would be forced to foul them sometimes. And in this situation, this is a turnover. So I do a bailout pass, and I can understand, okay, you do a bailout pass, you're more likely to get a turnover. Mainly in 2K and in real life basketball, it happens, but it's not as frequent as what they make it out to be in 2K. But and even then, it's just an animation trigger because in these instances, who you're passing the ball to, they could catch the ball. Like in this instance right here, he could have just caught the ball, but the animation trigger is scripted to impose a particular narrative onto the game. And the narrative right here, the trigger was that he is not going to catch the ball. He's going to lose it. The computer is going to steal it. That's how that works. So I passed the ball. Boom. He could have caught that right there, but they didn't allow it to happen. Now he's right in front of it. It's coming down. He could have rushed out or jumped up and caught it again. Computer would do it, but computer, who's guarding him, they're allowed to basically to kind of warp out of their spot. If you look, you see the little tick in motion, right? Where it's like he jerked and he's allowed to just slide into position to steal the ball. It was a triggered animation. It was a predetermined outcome. All right. That's basically how 2K works. It's ran on a script of a series of predetermined outcomes, predetermined animations. It's heavily narrated. All right, it's not just okay. You play, you get into a game, and you do your best to play, and you do what you do to get off. It's not just about that. That's a large part of it, but it's also you're playing according to an overall script, an overarching theme. You may have the narrative may be that your specific player is going to have a bad game. And so now what you're going to be battling with all throughout the game is you missing all the shots that you know you would have made. You're not getting fouls when you know you should have got the free throw. You may even be missing free throws. You may be losing the ball for no reason because there are triggered animations. You may have a game where there's another player on your team who is predetermined to have a bad game that night because they're trying to imitate real life basketball, but they're not allowing it to just happen naturally. They're forcing it on you. They're imposing their own narrative rather than just allowing it to play out naturally like it does in real basketball. Right? If you play 2K, I'm sure there's going to be games where you personally would just actually be making bad decisions, having a bad game. I've done it before, so everybody has. But 2K does not allow for you to just have a bad game. They determine when you're going to have a bad game. All right, and that's what I mean by a narrative. That's what I mean by the game is scripted. It's operating based upon a like a theatrical script, like a movie. All right, it's like everybody is playing a certain role to culminate in a particular outcome. The narrative may be that you're going to lose the game. In games like that, you're going to be able to tell that you're predetermined to lose the game because you're going to be able to see clearly that nothing really is going your way. Everything is going bad for you. All right, your teammates ain't catching the ball. They're moving real slow. They're not taking layup attempts when they have an easy layup. Sometimes they don't shoot wide open shots, or they'll just be missing 3, 4, 5 wide open threes in a row. All right, you're constantly losing the ball. Computer's defense, everybody on Computer's team has Kawhi Leonard, Scottie Pippen level defense. It's like, wow. A computer is constantly allowed to get offensive rebound after offensive rebound after offensive rebound because it's a script. It's an overarching narrative. That is the way that they program this game. They don't allow you to just have complete autonomy and free will, and for a computer to just be programmed to actually play well enough to be a challenge to you. Computer is no challenge. So what they've done is to compensate for what computer is lacking, they've scripted the game to cheat the user in order to give off the illusion that you're in competition, you're in a competitive game, you're fighting for a win. But in reality, you're just fighting against the algorithm and the AI fucking you over all throughout the game. And that's just basically how this shit goes. Anyway, peace.